Merry Christmas, and I want to give you guys some some games, and you're going to love these games. I'm excited for the 25th of December. Get ready for these games right here that I'm going to tell you. Are you ready? Ready. All right. So the first spot that I'm going to say is Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, this game is a really amazing game. It has a great story. Well, comparing between Marvel Spider-Man 1 and Marvel Spider-Man 2, I believe that Marvel Spider-Man 1 has a slightly better story, but in this game, it also has a great story as well. And I believe that the gameplay in this game is way more better. Marvel Spider-Man 2 has has really good swing traversal mechanics and cool abilities as well. There's more abilities in this game, and there's no more wheel, right? So like you don't have to press a button to bring up a bring up the abilities now. Now you just have to press a button now, and you could just pull off the abilities instead of just bring up the wheel and then going for the abilities. It took quite more longer in the first game than in the second game. In the sequel, there's Venom, there's Craven the Hunter, and I'm feeling excited saying all these villains and stuff because we got more villains in this game, and they're pretty decent. They're pretty good villains, and again, just interesting. At least with sequels like this game, they did it right. They did this sequel right. It made sense, and not gonna spoil much of the game, but this game is definitely worth it if you have a PS5. I think it's coming on PC soon, but yeah, and like there's way more suits in the game. There's some suits that are really good, and most of them that are just kind of overwhelming, bit crazy, but yeah, that's the game there. I haven't finished off the story yet. I feel like I'm close to the last act of the game, so probably going to put out a review of Marvel Spider-Man 2 later on, maybe in 2025. But yeah, that's Marvel Spider-Man 2 off the bat right there. Now the second game I would suggest here to get for Christmas is God of War Ragnarok. Now I never played God of War Ragnarok, but I want to play this one since I played the first one. And this Ragnarok one must have a little bit more bosses than the first game. And if you want to hear more about the story, then go ahead, get God of War Ragnarok. I believe that this game also has better gameplay and combat, and probably has the same principle like Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Jim's got tricks up his sleeve we haven't dared to consider.
What if there was someone who could help us?
You mean
And God of War Ragnarok must have better armor, better weapons. Well, not even probably the same weapons, but different abilities. Yeah, that's all I would say about God of War Ragnarok. You want to see more of Boy and more of just Kratos hack and slashing. Go ahead and get this one. Get this one, right? It will be worth it. Now, the third game I would suggest is Mafia Definitive Edition. Now, I played this one this year, and it is a pretty good game. I think that the gameplay is okay. Like the combat is not super like satisfying, but mediocre, like it's good. I think the gameplay is good. The story is also good. It's not like super super good, but it's still good. It's like basically GTA, but it's set in the older times, like the 18th, 17th century, where you had the mafia robbing banks. You know, you could drive cars, different vehicles, and you're in a gang. There's Tommy, Vazant, Vaz, Vazanti, I think. We had Tommy. We had the other characters just smoking, drinking, and all these stuff. You know, guns, and you have a story where you can customize Tommy, right? You could the game actually automatically customizes Tommy for you, and you and yeah, I can't really remember much about this game, but I know for sure that this game is a good game as well. Not like such a great game, but it's a good game. That fourth spot, I would go for Elden Ring. Right, Elden Ring, haven't played it yet, but I really want to play this one. Now, Elden Ring is a Souls-like game. I played other Souls-like games before, like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and Blasphemous, and Neo 2, and you know me, like, feel like one of my favorite Souls games up there is like Bloodborne, and then there's Neo 2. And these games are like very rewarding, very fun, and you could customize your character, and the world building is phenomenal, the design is phenomenal, and each of these games has its own identity, and these games are just super super fun to play. Now I never like tried out multiplayer. They must have multiplayer, and these games have DLCs. And Elden Ring, Night Rain is coming out in 2025, so that'll be interesting. I don't know if that's like a sequel to Elden Ring or like a DLC, whatever it is, but cool. And if you haven't played Elden Ring yet, I suggest you go play that one. And yeah, fifth spot now, I would go for Blasphemous. Now, Blasphemous is also another Souls-like game where it's beautifully dark, pixel art, action platformer, 2D platformer, right? Where hack and slash, Souls-like, and the game also looks really great. And I just played this one, finished it, and the story, well, in these Souls-like games, the story isn't like really explicitly told. Like it's more like you just see it through the world building and the environment. You kind of see the story. Sometimes a little bit with the dialogue. And this game is like has a lot of like the design of the game is really good. A lot of like in the game you have a sword, and that's like basically your only weapon. You get to customize your character in this one. You can slide, you could jump. You use your sword to like climb up places, like almost the entire game. Then there's also speed running. You could speed run the game. And there's a few things I missed in this game and I didn't get to do them yet, but I might do them like very soon. I don't really replay games that much, but yeah, I would suggest this game as well. It's a pretty good game to play. And back to Elden Ring, I feel like I would prefer Elden Ring and Blasphemous more than at least Mafia Definitive Edition. And then here's the last one. All right, next up, sixth spot. I would sixth or fifth spot. I would go with Lords of the Fallen, right? Now, Lords of the Fallen, I just recently played it, and for this game, if you want to play like more different type of Souls-like games with different mechanics, then I would suggest Lords of the Fallen. It has this dark fantasy, and I heard about this game, that this game really delves into that world building, that that dark design, and you're role playing as this sorcerer. You could be like this dark age individual with an axe. You could even play as like a type of bloodborne character in the game, and I chose that one for that. And only reason I got this game is because, it's a different Souls game. Just wanted to try out. Gameplay wise, I think it's okay. Story wise, haven't seen much, but yeah, I would say that this game's an okay game if you're bored or you want to play more games. All right, next up, the last one. I would go with Astrobot, right? Now, Astrobot is basically the the next game after Astro's Playroom. Now, I played Astro's Playroom and the VR games. I don't know if they're both the same. I don't know if Astro Playroom is the VR game that I played or wherever it is, but I played, you know, one of the Astrobot games that was in VR, and it was pretty sick. Like on the PS4, you could just use your controller to do many different things, and that applies with the newest Astrobot on the PS5. Your controller vibrates. You could move the triggers. You could move the sticks, and I believe that this game like is the most interactable game with your controller. Like this game reveals a lot about your PS5 controller, and honestly, like looking at it now, game of the year wise, I don't think anybody expected it to win game of the year, to be honest. Like I thought, since everybody was talking about Black Myth Wukong and other games, right? Like those games kind of deserve that black more game of the year title, because of the fact that it's a combat game and more like a hasn't released a lot of games in the games industry, is least likely to win a game of the year award. That's at least what I think, to be honest. So like let's say you're a indie game studio and you release one game, right, and it's really good, whatever it is, everybody's talking about it, it's really good. That doesn't mean that you'll win a game of the year award most of the time. Usually when you release a couple more games, depending on like even if it's bad or good, and then you release this one game after all those, good or bad games, and it's very, very phenomenal and professional, you'll they'll most likely get Game of the Year award. But in this case, with Astrobot, Astrobot is known around, so I guess it won that. But I was also hearing on how Astrobot stole some features from other games. Well, not really stole, like they kind of like took inspiration from those other games and implemented it in its own game, even though, like, the game should have been its own thing, like, yes, you could take inspirations, but not like flat out copy and paste. That's kind of crazy, but you get what I mean, guys. You get what I mean. But yeah, that's Astro's Playroom, and I feel like I want to play this one as well. Regardless, anyways, I mean, it's not even a bad game. It's just that it's not Game of the Year title, but it's still a really good game. And so I'm off from school or college. I have my, Christmas holiday break now, which is really, really great. And I wish you all a happy Christmas. And I should just suggest all these games. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And yeah, stay gaming. See ya.